Good day, good day, good day, and happy hump day to everybody out there that is joining us live here on the We Outside live cast. We have a very special guest. Some of you that's been rocking with us for the last 18 months, this is definitely not going to be the first time that you have seen this individual. But like any family member, the door is always open to them, and especially with somebody that has as much knowledge to share as our special guest today, and somebody that I'm privileged and honored to call my brother, my family, Mr. Van Verhoeven of B-Normous Productions. Welcome to the show again, my brother. Before we officially get started and let you take the time to introduce yourself to everybody watching outside with us today, let me give y'all a quick little rundown of who we are and what we're about at the We Outside Livecast. If this is your first time joining or not, or even if you're opening that door again with us, we appreciate that. We appreciate the support. Make sure you tell the others, because we are a live cast and podcast, if you go follow us on YouTube, that is rooted in family, real talk, authenticity, with people who are creatives, who are visionaries, or who are just out here creating their own motherfucking lane in life. And that is exactly who we have with us here today. Again, Van from B-Normous Productions. I've known Van for, probably 12, 13 years, close to it at this point in time. Van is going to drop a lot of knowledge for y'all today. This individual has been an artist in some way, shape, or form for well over 20 years. And there are many different layers to his artistry. He plays some instruments. He got some vocals for you where and when they are needed. He gets on the other side of the mixing board as well. He tracks, he mixes, he engineers. He does a whole lot of shit. And that's where I'm going to leave it right now, because we're going to talk about all of that today, and we're going to get into more detail of that as well. So with that said, Van, I'm going to shut the fuck up for a quick second, bro. And you go ahead and let the people know in your own words that are outside with us today who you are and what you are about, bro.
Thanks for having me, Mike P. It's a hard thing to shut you up.
Ain't that the
uh,
truth?
right? I run a studio in Colorado called B-Normous Productions. I'm a mixing engineer and recording producer. On top of that, I do film music videos and live shows, and do a little bit of video production as well, for businesses and other things as well. But my main thing is the studio, and as producing and mixing for musicians, artists, in all genres, from rock to hip hop to metal to country to pop punk, indie, whatever you kind of music you make, I will love to help you. Um, I recently was just mixing a pop song like a couple days ago, and then jumped into a metal track, and then into some rock. So um, that's something that I love to do, is just music in all genres. So that's a little bit about me. I played in a rock band years ago that got to do a bunch of big things, play with Guns N' Roses and Papa Roach and Corn and some of these awesome huge rock bands, and got to go tour and do the rock thing. And unfortunately, good things come to an end, and we parted ways, and I had to kind of make a decision on sticking to the stage, or kind of sitting back and doing the behind the scenes stuff. And that was really kind of more where I enjoyed in anyways. So I get to now be, instead of in one band, I get to be in like 30 bands, and get to kind of join the band on the back end, and help make their music come to life. It's always fun.
Man, that's hella dope, because that's a straight up cornucopia of music when it comes down to it, right? And let's just kind of start right there. For anybody not knowing, this is all unscripted. We're going straight off the dome with this, and this is where I would like to start with you today, bro. With all the 30 bands that you kind of just mentioned, and you said earlier, rock, pop, country, hip hop, because we have worked together. We're going to continue to work together
Yeah, yeah.
for a lot of different reasons. But what what do you appreciate about the different genres that you mentioned there? What do you appreciate about getting to work with so many different genres? And then secondly, how do you feel that might help you from one genre to the next when you're kind of going back and forth?
I mean, I appreciate getting to work with kind of different types of instruments and music in general, different types of vocalists. vocal production is something that I really really enjoy, and it's something that spans all genres. There's always going to be a vocalist in most cases. I have also recorded a band that has no vocalist, and it's all instrumental, which is a really really fun project, like a prog metal instrumental band. But in most cases, there's always going to be a vocalist. And the way that I kind of always approach all music is, in a similar fashion. It's all got vocals, it all has drums, it all has bass and some kind of stringed instrument, whether it be a piano or a keyboard or a guitar, bass. I mean, all of that is, at the end of the day, is all going to have a similar sound or way to approach it. So for me, I always pretty much approach most music in a similar fashion, and then cater to kind of what that kind of style sound usually sounds like, and then kind of mold my sound around that. And I mean, I tried to approach it that way, trying to make it sound as professional as possible, and what other artists in that genre are sounding like, and trying to match it as close as I can, or get it in that same ballpark as much as possible.
Now, which I can appreciate that because we talk to artists of all kinds, on this show, and it's really cool to hear what your answer is going to be to this part of the building process, right? When you're in the studio, um, you know, the different bands that you've worked with, many different genres, as we've discussed already. What's important for you when you're working with an artist from any genre? What's important to you when it comes to a collaboration? Or let me even ask it this way: what attracts you to somebody where you're like, yo, I would just love to work with you, whether you've worked with them in the past or not, and you appreciate and you want to work with them again, or somebody that you might just be discovering, or conversely, they're discovering you, like, yo, Van, I want to work with you. What is it for you where you're like, yo, all right, I feel like this could be a good collaboration?
Um, Songwriting. If they're a good songwriter, that's I mean, the biggest thing when it comes down to music is the song itself. And if the artist is a good songwriter, they know how to write a good song that has got good hooks and has a good sound and quality to the song itself. It makes my job a lot easier. When there's unfortunately not necessarily great songwriters, and their songs drag on, and they don't have great, just good melody or things like that, then that's always a little more challenging to work with that type of artist that doesn't quite understand the songwriting process, so that's what draws me to a specific artist is one, they're a good songwriter, and two, if they've got good melody and tone in their voice. Something also that draws me to is just a good singer, someone that can actually sing, versus lean on all the auto tune and fake shit that's out there these days. If someone can actually nail a vocal performance without really needing any tuning, that's something I gravitate towards more than most stuff. I do some metal and some screaming stuff, but for me, I enjoy a good vocal melody, and someone that can actually hit the notes and sing well. And then maybe have some screams in there also, but you got to have some kind of vocal melody. That's what I'm drawn to most.
One thing that you said in your conversation there, that struck me is structure, right? Structure. How important do you feel, from whether it be from the artistry side that you've experienced in your career, and most certainly behind the boards? How important, because everybody, in your position, has, maybe let's just call it, a difference of opinion as far as what's important to making, let's call it, a hit song, right? How important do you feel that structure, since you were talking specifically about songwriting? Songwriting needs structure of any kind, right? To be a good song, let alone something that somebody's trying to make a hit out of, go viral, make some money, or whatever. How important to you in the music's hierarchies of needs to that goal is song structure when it comes to songwriting to you?
Man, it's so important because, like, in this day and age, like, people's attention span is like so small that you've got to be able to structure your song in a way that's not going to bore someone. Like the days of the like minute intros and big long guitar solos and all these things are kind of going away, and it's because people's attention spans are so short, and there's so much music out there and so many different bands and great artists that you've got to be able to draw them in right away. Otherwise you're gonna it's gonna fall off and they're just gonna switch the song to something else. So that song structure and hitting that hook quick and getting into the vocal is in a quick fashion is a super important thing. And just knowing how to build your song sonically, where you're building anticipation and building things up to the chorus and then dropping back down to a second verse or whatever it is and learning how to build the dynamics into the song in the songwriting versus at the end of it with the mix, which again is important too, but it all does come to the songwriting itself in most cases. And if you don't quite know how to do that, then that's a challenging thing to create a song. And it does also come down to like, what are you going for when you're writing a song? Like, is this, you want this to be a huge radio hit, or do you just want it to be a song that you can enjoy yourself? And then there's you draw the line there where, like, if you want it to be a hit song, then there's a certain structure or format you kind of gotta hit in order for it to really have that potential. And if you're not going for that, then let's be creative and do some cool things. And maybe we don't necessarily have to have that quick intro, and it all kind of goes to what the artist is wanting.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head, and that's something I have a great appreciation for, because when I started working with you, I was extremely green. I was extremely green. I think we could both agree to that.
Greener than your shirt.
Man, ain't that the motherfucking truth? And I very much support that message. And we're talking about me. But of artistry, right? And you, again, you've worked with a lot of different people. Let's not talk about me in this instance. As much as I don't. This is Van's show. This is Van's show. We're learning Van and what he's doing. Y'all always hear enough from me, and you're gonna hear more from me. But with that said, talk to me about a scenario or an artist or group of artists maybe that you've worked with in the past, and when when you first encountered them and their passion with their artistry, and you're like, ah, man, I think you could maybe be a little better because of the experience that you, and I'm talking about you, Van, here. Talk to me about a scenario or scenarios in the past where you're like, man, y'all got something, but I want to now help elevate you, because in working with you, I know that's exactly what you're about. I know that's what's important to you. So if you can describe a scenario in the past where you started working with someone day one, and now they've gone through that level up process because of working for you, and just talk about what that experience was like for both maybe you as well as that individual artist as well, or group of artists, whatever the case might be.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I can't really think of one specific situation. Um, and it's a touchy kind of thing. You're working with an artist that has put their soul into making these songs, and then if you go in and like you start chopping them up and changing them, it hurts in some cases as the songwriter, and it hits your ego sometimes. Like, damn, like, I guess I'm not as good as I thought I was, or whatever it was, or the song wasn't as good as I thought it was. But I kind of go back to back when I was an artist with my band Novus Folium back in the day, and when we went in to record with a real producer for the first time, it was definitely a big gut check in the fact of that exact sense that we went in with thinking we had like 8, 9 bangers, and then come to find out like this producer is like you have maybe a half a song that's good. And it was like, oh, like, ouch, that
Mm.
hurts. Like, and we went in thinking like we had this massive hit that at the end of the day was at first was like 5.5 minute song, and we had to like chop it down to be under 4 minutes, and that was like we had to cut a lot out of that song in order to fit that window. And so it was a gut check for sure. Like it hit all of us in the band kind of hard, some of us more than others. Band members, we had kind of gotten into some massive arguments about it, like what are we gonna we're gonna just destroy our song because this producer told us to. But at the end of the day, like that ended up being our one of our biggest songs ever. After cutting it down and making the changes we did, it did end up turning into like the one of the biggest songs we ever wrote. And then going forward after that, we kind of had the formula, and it was like, okay, well, we gotta try to keep these songs under 4 minutes. We got to hit the hook by the 45-second mark, and the certain rules that the pop music has, and not necessarily meaning like pop is gonna be just like pop artists like Britney Spears, but like popular music in general, that even on big rock stations have kind of still have that pop format, the verse chorus bridge chorus type of thing, or that kind of that style format. You can always kind of you can keep in that box but still make it your own, and make your song still badass and rock and hit hard, but still kind of follow that pop format. So it was thinking back, it's the biggest one is my own band from back in the day, where I kind of it was a big gut check, and a learning experience that I kind of take into the studio myself now, and I try to help artists with that as much as I can without stepping on their toes, and getting them into the situation where I was, where it was it hurt, and it was hard to do. So yeah, there's that tricky kind of way you got to approach it, where you don't want to step on their toes too much, but you also kind of it all depends on what they're going for, and if they want their song to be a big massive hit, then we have that conversation with where do we uh where do we follow the line, where do we draw the line, and start hitting those certain criteria. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
No, I think that's a very, I mean, being able to use obviously your personal experience is always good. And I'm going to follow right up on that with how long did it take you? Because again, you were a part of a band in that scenario, but going through that humbling experience as you had laid it out in working with a professional producer for the first time, as you would put it, when did it hit you when you were like, man, I'm glad I listened to that dude? Because you already said it, like in the beginning, everybody's like, looking at each other like, fuck, like, oh my God, like, we did this, but there, this dude's telling us that this just isn't good enough. And not that it's not good, but it's not necessarily. So let's be clear here, people. We're not saying that it wasn't good, but it wasn't good enough in a professional's opinion for what the goal of what Novus Folium was looking for in that point in time. And Van already said that it ended up being one of their biggest fucking songs ever, right? So the direct question to you is, and sticking with this scenario and this theme of dynamics, when did it really hit you when you're like, yo, I am glad that I and we collectively as a band listened to this dude?
Yeah, I mean, it was probably in the situation was definitely hard, but at the end of it all, after going through all of that, the end of the week of the producing and recording and all of that, and kind of getting back home and kind of processing all of that, was probably when it all kind of hit, where it was like, damn, like that was an intense week of kind of going to school in a way,
Yeah.
relearning songwriting and the rules, and after that, it really did change us. We started kind of after that, we wrote another almost a full record in like a year, 12 new songs that all kind of follow that format, and it really was like not too much longer after that. It was, a couple weeks of process to understand it, and then we kind of took it to heart and went full on it after that.
And was it from that experience, and then obviously what you just mentioned in going out and banging out a new project in its entirety, in that year? Again, you had mentioned earlier in the conversation you got some experiences opening for Guns N' Roses, Korn, some other dope experiences that you and I have been able to share, and we could probably have just a series on your experiences, honestly, because you got some cool stories, but you also got some real fucking stories, from that experience as well. But from a fan perspective, when you start getting these opportunities to go and open up for these individuals, what was that like for you? Because you got to be the professional, right? You got to go out and fucking perform. But knowing you like I know you, I'm sure the fan in you is like, yo, we're opening up for fucking Korn. Yo, we're opening up for fucking GNR. Like, what was that experience like? But also then, how do you separate those two? Being the fan to being, I got to be the professional tonight to get up and do my motherfucker. How do you compartmentalize that?
Yeah, I mean that was nerve wracking as hell. Having those kind of opportunities, it helps to play before them, so you're concentrating on your job at hand all day and not worrying about like the 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 fan in me like getting to see this band I idolize. But I had a job at hand that you had to take care of, and mentally just focus on what you're doing. And then after that performance is over and you get off stage, then you can flip that switch and become a fan and get to enter into that mind state. But it's more about just focusing in on the job at hand and not letting that overwhelm you. Unfortunately, like this wasn't like we got thrown to the wolves right away and we started opening for these big bands. Like we worked our way up there. We had played so many shows before that that prepares you to get to that point. So you're not just jumping in the deep end right away. You're building up to that over the course of several years, to finally get to do that. So at the end of the day, it's a stage, and the crowd's bigger, the lights are a little brighter, but at the end of the day, it's still what you do and what you've done for years. So it doesn't change too much when you're getting to that point, because you've built your way up there for years beforehand.
And you said something very important there, especially for anybody, because the age old thing that we bring up constantly on this show is when it comes to artistry, there's something called a recording artist and there's something called a performing artist. You can be one, you can be the other, but truly, and let me know if you agree with the statement or not, there's not a lot of people out, or sorry, let me put it that way. Not everybody out there who is a recording artist was meant to be a performing artist. So what do you think
Yeah.
is anybody that might be finding themselves in the infancy of discovering themselves an artist, if they're a recording artist now, but their goal is to become a performing artist, what's maybe a piece of advice or just some thoughts you would share with that individual or group of individuals, that might be a band type of scenario that can help them bridge the gap, if you will, from becoming a performing artist, or excuse me, a recording artist, to that of a performing artist, because they are not the same. I can say that confidently.
Absolutely. I mean, you've got to be comfortable in front of other people, and there are certain recording artists that are just not comfortable singing in front of other people or performing in front of other people, and it's kind of you've got to overcome those mental blocks to get to that point where you're comfortable being in front of other people and playing your songs in front of other people. But the big thing is your stage performance and putting on a show. I see a lot of local bands out there that go on stage and then their show is very lackluster. It's very just like you're practice like you're seeing a band practice, but you're on stage. um, and there's a whole nother level to it when you are actually putting on a show for someone versus you're just playing your songs for people. Because there's a whole nother aspect to a live show that unfortunately bands don't necessarily understand in some cases, where it's like for us with Novus, we were all about our live show and performing and putting on a show. So we would go as far as like rehearsing what we were gonna say during this break between songs, or we had like a 5 seconds or less between songs. Like we're not gonna sit around and have the fans like wondering, well, what's going on, why is the band stopped playing, and they're all just
Mm-hmm.
kind of talking to each other. It's like it's getting going into it hard, like knowing exactly what you're going to say at what time of the show, where you're going to be standing, what kind of moves you're going to be doing on stage. Like we had all these things planned out, choreography, when are we going to do our guitar throws, and when are we going to be rocking together, who's going to be on what side of the stage at what time of the show, or we're not all on one side of the stage and it's all on balance. Like there's so many things that you have to think about when you're a band, more than just the music itself. And it really has to be a show and not just you playing your songs for people. And so that's one of my biggest advice for bands starting out that are starting to play shows and playing their music live, is that you've got to be more than just playing your songs for people. It's got to be more than that. You got to put on a show and entertain people, because that's at the end of the day, people are there to see you, not just hear you but see you. And so visually it's got to be look cool and look good on top of sound good. So it's the whole thing. And some bands kind of lose sight of that they're to see you there, not just to hear you play.
So very similar to what you were talking about earlier when we were talking about song structure, performance on a stage. You have to have some structure to it, and of course, like you guys literally just get together. You know, you show up 2 hours before a show, and you're like, okay, this is what we're gonna do, right? That's how it goes in this world, right? You literally just show up for showtime, and you're like, we're gonna do all this. So, right? Is that how it works? Is that how it works, man? For anybody that might not be familiar.
No. Yeah, that 30 seconds or 30 minutes you have on stage, you prepared months for. And it's something that you really have to take seriously when you're doing a show. And it's not just what song are we playing next. Like that's one of the most amateur things you could do, is not knowing your set list and not having a plan ahead of time. And like if I'm seeing a band, like what's talking to each other, like what song should we play next, like that's the biggest amateur move that you can do when you're playing a show. Like be prepared, come into it knowing like your set list from start to finish, and having a whole plan planned out for that 30 minutes, and not just going up winging it, you know.
No, that's important, because even if somebody's going out and performing for the first time, man, you gotta, man, pretend like you've been there before, because unless somebody's discovering you or has known you for some time, this is their first time experiencing you, seeing you as well. And I lived that as well. You know, the first time that I ever performed live, like I came off the stage not knowing what that experience was like for me. And the promoter that night, you know, she came right up to me. She was like, yo, you have some dope stage presence. Best compliment I could have ever. I don't care how, at that point, honestly, I didn't give a fuck how the song went. The fact that the promoter came up to me and was like, yo, you got some dope stage. And that was my first time ever, which nobody knew but me. And then she did when I told her, thank you. You're right. You got to have that confidence, right? But that confidence does not come without that preparation that you talked about. And it's not 30 minutes before the showtime. I mean, I was in my fucking shop in Oklahoma with just one of our hammer drill bits. You know what I'm talking about, because we fucking been on the job site before. Just screwed that motherfucker off, and that was my mic. You gotta play it out. You have to be prepared, because as you were talking about earlier, people see things, right? And when we talk about the communication process when you're doing a performance, it's really no different than just having a normal conversation that we are now. And a lot of people don't know that 55% of the communication process is non-verbal language. So if you're a performing artist, I want you to take 5 seconds, ask yourself that, or like, wow, did I even know that? And two, let that shit hit you. More than 55% of the communication process is nonverbal language. So if you're going to go out there and you're going to put on a bummy ass show like Van described, and you're just literally playing like you're fucking practicing, there's no energy behind it, that's not going to resonate. You're not going to gain any new audience, from that experience that might first be experiencing for the first time. And conversely, you might turn some people off potentially that has been a fan of you
Right.
in the past.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. If you go see a band that you've listened to for a long time and then their stage show is just like boring, it totally turns you off from that band. But I mean, it's so important. And if you're not like you're not engaging with your audience, not like bringing them on a ride with you, like that's you missed the whole point of the whole experience of a live show. Like you've got to take them with you on this ride and not just be like standing staring at the ground while you're singing, or like not looking at people, not engaging with your audience. Then it people are going to get turned off and go to the bar and have beer and
Yeah.
not engage with you on that at all. So it's so important. Live performances, if you are in it for the whole haul and you want to be a big star, like that's so important, even more nowadays than ever, because everyone can record a song now almost. And if you don't have a live show to back it up, then it's unfortunate anymore. And there are a lot of bands out there right now that don't play live at all. And not saying that it's a bad thing or anything, but it
It's certainly
is
not
half the
helping.
battle. And there are certain artists that can't do it live. I mean, I work with a lot of musicians that are kind of solo artists that we build songs together, just me and me and them, and we make a full band sound with just the two of us. But it's a little more challenging when you don't have the ability to show that off to people live in a live atmosphere. And um, you don't make a whole lot of money these days with streaming music, so live live performances is kind of where the money is in the music industry anymore right now. That or getting your song into TV shows or movies or sync possibilities. Those are kind of the two big sources of money in the music industry right now, and streaming is just not one of them right now, unfortunately.
No, you're absolutely right. You got to be diversified in everything that you do, no matter what your passion is or your entrepreneurship. And you're right, because like it doesn't matter if you're just starting out or you've been in this for a long time and performing for a long time. And I'll give you, for example, Chelsea and Jupiter went to when we were still living in Oklahoma City. They went and saw Disturbed and Falling in Reverse, and it was not Falling in Reverse. They went for, I mean, they went for both. But Chelsea and Jupiter like have always been a big fan of Disturbed. Still are. That doesn't change. They're going to go see him live again. However, frontman's name, Dave something, I think, if my memory serving me correctly. Thank you. Yes, David Draymond. He had just recently came down with a sickness, no pun intended. Real life shit is what we're talking about here. So he was definitely a little reserved because he had a cold and a chest thing that he was just coming off of, and that hindered his performance a little bit, and thus the group's performance. And when they came home, because I didn't go with them to this show, it was a gift that I'd given them to go experience as a mom and daughter duo that they are, for the love that they share. And they both came home, and Jupiter was, I don't know, 8, 9 at the time. And they both came home saying, yo, Falling in Reverse fucking killed it. I've been lucky enough to see Falling in Reverse live as well. Talk about putting on a fucking show. Falling in Reverse puts on a motherfucking show. But it was, man, I was sad for them to hear. And we, again, know a little bit of the reasons why, that Disturbed didn't really meet their expectations of a live performance. So, and I only simply say that because of the fact that that can be for any level of artistry. If you're just starting out or you've been touring or performing for 20 plus fucking years, if your passion's not in it or there's something that's hindering that passion, man, nobody is at how do I want to even put this? Anybody, let's just put it this way: anybody can fall victim to not putting on a good show, no matter how long you've been doing this or how good of a performing artist,
Right. Yeah, I mean,
that you are.
I've seen Disturbed now a few times, and actually was blown away by them every time I've seen them. So it's sad to hear that experience didn't happen for them that one time, and it sucks to say that illness can from having those fans experience that greatness that they are for that one night, and it's a bummer to hear that in a way, actually. But we're all human at the end of the day, and there's times where we're not feeling it, and it does unfortunately sometimes turn people off because of that one night and one experience didn't go the way that you expected.
And to that point, I mean, the good thing is, I mean, Disturbed's reputation, of course, precedes them. So Chelsea and Jupiter are still fans. They're going to go see him live again. That definitely didn't turn them off in that instance. But and you've done a lot of touring. I'm sure you've whether it be touring or performing even locally, I'm sure you've probably gone through that type of experience. So is there any advice that, especially when there's like big contracts involved, utilizing Disturbed as, the experience? There's a lot of money to be lost. There's a lot of money that you may have to be put back into the pot if you don't go out and perform, depending what the contracts look like, because every contract is different for these things. But what's any piece of advice that you might be able to give to somebody who's like, I don't have a choice, I have to go perform? Yeah, I might be coming off of something, or I might be dealing with something now. How do you make it through a scenario like that as a performing artist?
Oh man, it's tough. I've performed sick a few times where it's like you just got to get through this set, like however it is, and man, yeah, it's challenging. You got to keep yourself just your what you're eating and what you're doing, like not drinking late the night before, and take care of yourself while you're out there on the road. And for like a vocalist, like don't talk during the day. Like if you're someone that is typically always talking, you're using up your vocal cords, and at by the time the show comes, like now you've just been talking all day, and you've burned yourself out. So now your vocals aren't going to be as good as they could have been if maybe you were just chilling and not talking all day. So those would be a few things of advice to think about. Just take care of yourself and not be drinking and smoking all day and doing all the rock star things that you want to do while you're on tour. Really, it's you're there to perform for people, and so you got to take care of yourself and not kill your tool, your instrument, before the show even happens, so that you can bring it all when you're on stage and give them the best performance you possibly can. Now, illness can happen. Being on the road is tough as hell. It's hard. Like, you do unfortunately meet a lot of people, and you may end up getting sick, and that's out of your control. And it's at the end of the day, we're all just humans, so it happens. But do the best you can to try to avoid that by putting good things in your body and taking care of your health, so that doesn't happen.
And I want to touch on this real quick, because anybody that's looking to get into the entertainment business, from what Van was just talking about it, there's two pieces there: the entertainment piece, but the business piece, right? So let's use this analogy. Anybody that has, and the majority of people that were, that are out in this world have, your regular job, or, your own boss, you're an entrepreneur. There's a time for the entertainment and to have fun, but you also have to realize the underlying business aspect of it, right? Like when we worked at Dish together, right? There were some times that maybe I smoked a little bit before I went into Dish. Was it maybe the smartest thing to do, or popping an edible during work hours? Maybe not. Did that hinder my performance? I don't know. Maybe it did. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. But that's in the past. But my point is, if you want to have the true success of giving your 100% to whatever it is that you're doing, especially the entertainment side of things. You have to be structured. This is kind of almost becoming the theme of today's conversation. We talked about song structure, we talked about performance structure and being prepared for that. You have to be prepared to the business side and the structured business side, because there are some people on the other side of this that can make or lose a lot of motherfucking money when it comes to these type of shows as well. So the balancing act of being on tour, for example, because you're away from home, you're away from your normal routine. You know, there's going to be those groupies. There's going to be people who are just like, man, that was fucking awesome. You might be mid-set. I want to buy you a bunch of shots. You can't be taking motherfucking 6 shots in the middle of a set now, can you? Like, right. that's probably gonna fuck with your set a little bit, right? Whether you're utilizing your performance in that capacity of playing an instrument, and certainly as a vocalist, right? We've seen it. I mean, especially today with the internet the way that it is and fucking cameras everywhere. I mean, we could probably sit here and start a whole fucking series of people that should have not consumed some type of substance close to or during a performance, right? So like, how did you balance that? Or how did you try to balance that? How did Novus Folium try to balance that in the specific instance when you guys are on tours? Because there's a lot of attractive shit out there, whether it's drugs, women, men for some, whatever the fucking case might be. You know, what's that balancing act look like? And then how do you say no sometimes when it's fucking hard to say no, man?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing would be just like maybe not interacting with too many people beforehand and getting drawn into those situations, and just having self control. Really, at the end of the day, you gotta have self control and know like what's more important, like going and getting high and drunk, or like your performance. Like that that people are there and paid money to come see you, and like to be hammered while you're on stage, like that's a bad look. And I've seen some huge artists come on stage pretty drunk and being like, damn, like I spent all this money to see you and you're slurring your words and you're missing your lyrics, and like you're not taking this very seriously apparently. And addiction is a terrible thing, and some people can't help it because they're addicted, and it's terrible. And unfortunately, in the music industry, addiction is a big thing. A lot of great artists fall into that hole and let addiction take over. But you got to kind of be cognizant of like you're gonna maybe ruin someone's day, or ruin your a fan's
a paying
outcome.
customer. Yeah, a fan and a fucking paying customer,
because,
man.
Because you decided to be selfish and go get drunk before the show.
Oh, and not only that, think about it from this perspective, people. Anytime that you're getting on stage, you never know. You never know who is out in that audience, right?
That one show could turn into being your biggest thing ever. So yeah, you never know what who's seeing you that one day, and what it could do to your life and your career if that one person is blown away by you, and it turns into something way bigger. I mean, it actually ended up being a case for us when we opened for Guns N' Roses. There was someone in the crowd that ran a radio station in North Dakota, and when they saw us, they all of a sudden went back and started playing our songs on their radio station, and we ended up building a tour around going up there because our music started to get like regular rotation on a clear channel like iHeartRadio station in North Dakota at the time, and ended up being like one of the coolest things ever because we ended up like kind of becoming like a popular artist on that radio station for a little while, and it was all because we performed well at that Guns N' Roses show, and it opened the eyes to some people that maybe have never seen you before. So yeah, like if you're especially if you're playing or opening for a bigger artist where you're gonna get a bunch of new fans, like really take that seriously, because that's a huge opportunity that if you mess up, like it's gonna go the opposite direction. And so yeah, um, You gotta really take every situation is as like this is our big break. No matter if it's a small show, a little show, you never know. You never know.
Nah, it's absolutely true because every time you get on a stage, it's almost like you're auditioning, whether you know it or not. Because even people, we mentioned it briefly earlier, people are fucking filming everything these days. People are filming the performances that they're there to experience. Why? I don't know. Like, if you wanted to do that, you might as well just fucking stay at home and see if you could pay for it on pay per view, or wait till that shit comes out from somebody else filming it from the show, right? So, just
Right.
people, when you go to a show of any kind, enjoy the motherfucker, man. Like, if there's a quick little point where you're like, ah, cool, I want to get this moment. All right, cool, get this moment. If like it's your favorite song or something. But man, you pay all this motherfucking money. In some cases these days, you're paying more in ticket fees and taxes than the motherfucking ticket themselves.
Right.
What kind of value are you trying to get out of the money that you're spending? But that's just me as a consumer, right? I mean, yeah, it's y'all's money. Spend it however the fuck you want.
Watching the show through your phone screen. Like you might as well have just stayed home and watched the show on your phone.
Man,
Yeah,
for real.
experience it.
But
It'll
that
be a
speaks to the
life.
business side of things.
Right.
Again, you know, you have choices and you have to build the proper structure, because it's like anybody that's going, because let's agree, if you want sustainability, especially in something as volatile as the entertainment industry, you got to be on your P's and Q's. If you have to build it, you have to treat it like a business. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, because that's important. So if you're at least conscious about that before you start going out and performing or having opportunities to do things that you've not been able to do, so you've got to set yourself up for success from the beginning. Don't just take it. Some things, yes, don't get me wrong, you have to take as it comes, because some of those things are out of your control, and you be thankful for those opportunities. But you also play a lot bigger of a role, in my opinion. So I'm curious to get your thoughts on this. You play a lot bigger of a role in setting yourself up for those successes of which you seek. For some, it's millions of dollars. For some, it's just sustainability, because they have a passion for what they do, and they just want to be able to do it for the rest of your life. But you do have a choice in doing that or not. Is that something that
Yeah.
you agree
Oh
with?
man, I am such a huge believer in like running your music as a business. Like the end of the day, if you want to be successful with it, you have to have a business mindset with it. And that came back again to my band Novus Folium. We when we decided to actually take it seriously and really do things the way and try to make a big run at it and get huge. That was, I mean, we had that goal in mind from the beginning. It was like we want to be huge. We want to go play Red Rocks and be touring and doing these big shows and do it as we want to be big rock stars, you know? So we had that goal in mind from the very beginning. And when we decided like that was going to be the thing, like we created a business account, we licensed our name with the state of Colorado, and we created an LLC and made a business at it. And that really mentality like made us where we went and ended up being successful with it. If you're have a rock band and you are not running it in that fashion, then you're not really going to do anything with it. It's not going to go the way that you want. So um, creating a business and for your band is a very, in my opinion, a very beneficial and important thing, because it just changes your mentality. And at the end of the day too, like it can be financially help you as well, because then you get to do things like write off your expenses for the band, get to write off the gas that you spent to drive to the show, or get to write off the cymbals that you had to buy for your drum set, or all the strings that you buy for your guitars, or the recording fees that you have to pay for to get your song recorded. Like all those things are business expenses that you get to write off on your taxes at the end of the year. And if you don't have a business account and you're not running it that way, then you're just spending your own money and not getting any benefit
It's more
out
of a
of it.
hobby. It's kind of more of a
It's
hobby,
a
would
hobby
I think.
versus, yeah, a legit business. And if you run it that way, then you get to uh, get those benefits of things like tax write-offs. And maybe not necessarily your band has made any money for the year, but maybe your band ended up going in the red a little bit that is something that then you guys get to write off on your personal taxes. Like you take a loss for the year, now that's less money you have to pay to the government.
Yep.
Whereas if you weren't tracking any of that and you have no business account to do that, then that's just money out of your pocket, and you still have to pay the same taxes you would have if you spent that money or not. So something I highly recommend for artists really wanting to do it as a legit thing is create a business for your band and run it that way, and you're going to be way more successful with it.
No, man, truer words never been fucking said. I'm coming from a business individual and entrepreneur himself, and so I wanna, I think this is a perfect segue because we've talked about your artistry, we've talked about the experiences that you have and your bands, and many different types of structure today. I want to talk about the business side of things because you are an entrepreneur and a business man yourself, running B-Normous Productions, which you've been doing for a very, very long time, but you've been doing it full time for about 3-ish, 4-ish years now, maybe give or take. So let's talk about that a little bit, right? Tell the people what that is like. Really, just what's the day-to-day expectations when you are doing that? When you're the only one, no pun intended, you're a one-man band as far as it comes to running your business and being the CEO. You're the marketing motherfucker. You're the CFO. You're everything, bro. You're the janitor and everything in between, dog. Like straight up. So, first part of what I'm going to ask there is, what is it? Not necessarily having a quote unquote accountability partner, right? That is in this day to day aspect and operations of it with you. First question, we'll just start here. What is it that makes you keep doing this day in and day out, especially through some of the bullshit that we as business owners and entrepreneurs are inevitably going to experience? What keeps you fucking ticking, bro? To be like, yo, I'm showing back up to motherfucking work tomorrow, no matter what happens. This is the shittiest day I've ever motherfucking experienced. But you know what? I'm gonna go sleep. I hope I get a good solid sleep. I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna open my eyes if I'm lucky enough, and I'm gonna do it again. Why, Van?
Man, it all comes down to like seeing the eyes of light up of the artists you're working with and getting the feedback from them like, oh my god, I've never sounded so good, and I've never heard myself this way. And it just that brings me so much joy every time that I get to do that for an artist and make their dreams come true. Or if it's maybe someone that's never gotten to record a professional song before and never heard their music in that way, it getting the feedback of like, they're like, just, oh my god, this is so good, that brings me back every time. Like getting to experience that feedback over and over again is like nothing else. And just getting to help artists fulfill their dreams, and that brings me back over and over again every time. And just making music in general is, I love it. It's in my soul. And just getting to make music for a living is a dream come true for me myself. I've 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 wanted to do this for 20 years, and getting to finally make a living doing this, for the last 3 years, I couldn't be happier with where I'm at. And there are challenges. Like you were saying, I wear a lot of hats. I have to do everything, from running the business, booking the clients, and marketing, and there's ebbs and flows where you're not getting any business, and there's not people coming in, and then there's times where you're flooded with business and you're overwhelmed and you have so many things going on and so many different people that you've got to interact with, and maintain relationships with people, and not take offense when maybe they are giving you bad feedback or things like that. And just trying to balance all of it, at this, and help make it as easy as possible for the artists and for yourself, and not get burned out, and not take it negatively when things aren't going your way, and try to just figure out what's what's the best move for my next thing, and what do I do to keep going down the same path, or maybe in some cases change the path, if it's not going the way that you want it to. So it's, yeah, you just gotta mentally just keep it all in your head, and not try not to get too overwhelmed with it all, and do the best you can, and just continue to do the best possible work you can, and things will work out for you when you do that.
Fair enough, man. You said a very important word there, balance. Balance, because like most people in this world, whether you're running your own thing as Van is with B-Normous Productions, which, by the way, if y'all have not tapped in with Van yet, make sure that you go follow him. I dropped it in the comments. We'll make sure that we drop it in the comments again. Y'all need to go follow Van Verhoeven, and need to go follow at B-Normous Productions. Because if you do, there's a lot of information and knowledge that you're going to be able to gain, in addition to being able to see some of the cool fucking bands and individual solo artists that he's been able to work with as well. So definitely had to give you a plug there. But let's talk about balance, because you also have a family. It's not like you just sit in a motherfucking studio all day. Some days you might. But again, that's where the balance comes in, right? You might be putting in, and I've done it with you. We've done a fucking 60. We've done like back to back, like 16-hour days, bro, like easily. So how do you balance, running the business that you have to run for the sustainability of your business, but also that of your family? You're the patriarch of your family, bro. How do you balance everything that's going on with your life, being the entrepreneur and having the passion as well? Because that's a hard part for people that are actually passionate. Some people get to be like, all right, I'm clocking the fuck out. My day is done. But when you have a passion, I feel, with the passion that I have for certain things that I do, I feel that's the most challenging thing to me in finding that balance, right? Totally. So how do you find that balance, especially with the passion that you have for what you do?
Yeah, you got different mindsets that you've got to tap into for those certain situations, and unplug when the time is necessary to enjoy your family or family time, and try to come back to that later when you're not in that zone, and try to detach yourself from the business and the family, and give your family the time, and not be continuously just business 100% of the time. It's challenging for sure, because this is your livelihood, and how you make your money. So if someone reaches out to you at 7:30 at night, and you gotta respond in a timely manner, but also not disrespect your family, and so yeah, there's definitely, you got to have a balance for sure, and respect each other, and each other's time, and yeah, it's challenging for sure, very challenging, balancing all of that, 100%.
Amen to that, man. And with the balance comes the support, right? For us that are lucky enough to have awesome support systems with respect to our families, and they understand what we do.
Yeah.
I'm curious to you, because there are some people that do what we do from an art and a passion standpoint that don't necessarily have the support of their significant other. And that might be, it might be a girlfriend, it might be a boyfriend, it might be a husband, a wife, someone that's been down with you for a minute. Let me ask it this way. How much easier does it make for you when you have the support of your family like you do? Because not everybody has that, bro. And I'm sure that makes it so much fucking harder. Now, I hope to never experience that shit, honestly.
Yeah, right.
But how much easier does it make it for you to have the support that you do? And you do. You have an awesome family, bro.
My wife is amazing, Megan. I love her so much. She gives me so much support with what I do, and gave me the chance to do this full time, and gave me the opportunity, and the trust in me that I could potentially pull this off. And I can't thank her enough for that, because when Palaver kind of went crashing down, and I had to make a decision of going and finding another job, or jump in with B-Normous full time and try to make a go at it. She gave me the full blessing to do it and try it and try to accomplish my dreams and jump in on it 100%. And I can't give her enough credit for that, and respect to give me that opportunity. So yeah, having a support system like that. My mom, she's supported my dreams forever since she bought my first guitar when I was 15, and has always supported me and pushed me into to doing what I loved. And yeah, I can't give it enough respect to anybody that supports your dreams, because man, if you're coming home every day with someone that's just like, what are you doing with your life, like that just makes it so much worse. And it would just be so hard if you never had someone supporting you and giving you the mental, like, ability to do those things, because it takes a lot out of you. And if you don't have someone that's helping support you and build you up, then it's just going to come crashing down even harder, if you don't have that support system. So yeah, it's so important, so important. And thank God I have an amazing wife, and my kids. They support me so much, and all my friends and family that help support all of this. Like it keeps me going, and I can't thank them enough for that.
Man, what I take to share, what I take from that to everybody watching now, or if they're going to be watching it after the fact when our live conversation is done, make sure you have the right people around you, man. Make sure you build a good team, and a team can, potentially be someone that might be in this day in and day out with you. It might be somebody who's kind of like an independent person contracting with you from time to time if you need something, a little extra help, especially when things are really fucking booming, but you still got to deliver a certain product or a service in your case, right? But your team members are also those that day to day you are keeping around you to make sure on those days where it's like, you're having that moment where you're like, fuck, man, why am I doing this? Like, I love it, but fuck, this shit is beating me up, man. You need to have a support system like that as a part of your team to help you through those dark times, man. Because, man, I think you and I are like, no, man, fucking this world is not all fucking sunshine and rainbows, bro. Clouds are gonna come sometimes. The darkness is gonna shed its light. So, that team doesn't necessarily have to mean somebody that's in the fucking grind with you. That team member or a set of team members could be someone that's going to support you, like you talked about with respect to your,
Right. Yeah.
to your
Just to
family
give you
as
that
well.
confidence, and knowing, like, don't give up, and don't throw in the towel. Like, it may be slow right now, but things are going to come back. And it just keeping that positive mindset and not letting you spiral and into a black hole of terrible thoughts that just drag you down. So yeah, I mean, like, I had been a bit slow the last couple of months, and just having conversations with my wife, like, she just kept giving me positivity, like, it's gonna come back, don't worry, like, we're fine, like just keep doing what you're doing, take this time and appreciate it, like, and I did, like, it was actually kind of turns out to be a blessing, because I had a bit of slow time where I was able to do some things that I wouldn't have had the opportunity to do for the business if I was just constantly busy, building some ads, and being able to build a back end, rebuild a website, do some things that I don't maybe necessarily have the time to do when I'm super busy. So if you are slow, take the opportunity during those times to do things to help bring that business back and build things better. And so yeah, having a support system giving you the confidence and just pushing you to continue going, not just spiraling down a black hole of terrible thoughts, is so important. So thank God for all my friends and family, and my wife to continue to support me and be like, yo, like, I'm gonna help you do whatever you need to help bring in business. Like, thank you, Mike, like, for helping me and all the things that you've helped me with over the years, and push me, and helping however you can. Like, um I can't thank all of the people surrounding me with that.
Nah, man, I appreciate those blessings, and I'm always here, bro, and you already know this, and I'm always going to continue to be here, bro, because I love seeing people win in general, and especially those close to me, those that are my family, like you are. Man, I want to see y'all fucking win better than anybody, man, because I'm one, something that you said there as well, when unexpected times of slowness, let's call it, from, and what I mean by slowness is, for example, you might be used to tracking every fucking day, right? But if you have a period of maybe even 2 weeks where you're still tracking, but not necessarily every single day, you're still working. There's still work to be done, as you mentioned, different marketing, different type of ads, rebuilding the website. Take the opportunities that you might not see in the moment as opportunities, because you've built those habits of every day I'm in the studio fucking tracking. So, your subconscious is already built in you. It's wired in you almost, right? That if I'm not tracking today, I'm slow. But no, you took the time. You didn't fucking just sit around and be like, I'm not fucking tracking today. I'm just, no, you did other shit that you you continue to build from the foundation that you have already set forth, that have brought those 30 plus bands that you work with on a regular basis. Homeboy from Wisconsin that we were talking about before the show, that had him stop through your fucking shop that you've been working with for 3 years from afar. That's working. And I don't think a lot of people, especially individuals that are first getting into business, just because you're not delivering a service or a product, there's always work to do behind the scenes. Because again, you build the foundation of a business, as Van was talking about earlier. What are you doing? Is it a product? Is it a service? Is it something that you're just offering to people that is tangible or not tangible? You've got to build an LLC. You got to come up with a name. You got to come up with a framework. Well, what the fuck am I going to do? That's your foundation, right? But if you do not evolve as a business, as a brand, I'm going to tell you, if you don't evolve with the times, there is going to be a day where you're literally just saying, well, shit, I'm not tracking today. I'm not doing this. Oh, shit. Do I even fucking have a business anymore? Right. So you have to adapt. You have to be able to pivot, but you also have to notice those opportunities when they're presenting themselves, because if you force things, it's going to be unauthentic, and unauthenticity will only get you so far. The authentic individual that you are, Van, I know it's helped you build those relationships. That's built a relationship with me, where I live in Kansas City now, but even when I was living in Oklahoma, the value that I respect and appreciate of what you bring for what you do and what you meant to my career, from, as we talked about earlier, which was greener than my motherfucking shirt compared to where I am today. I value that. And you are an individual that wants to build relationships. And that has led me to hop on a motherfucking plane to come the fuck out there. That's led me, as soon as some time frees up, that I'm going to be fucking coming back out there, to get some shit done with you. Because I want to say this, not that, listen, I'm in Kansas City. Man, you throw a fucking stone, there are hella dope producers and engineers, people that are Grammy nominated, people who fucking won Grammys. And that's no fucking lie. And I'm sitting here saying, I'm either going to hop in my car, I'm going to hop a plane again to drive or fly to Colorado to work with this man, not just for the value of what he brings on that side of the board, but in any business. And we're talking about the business of, music relationships right now. If you find someone that you connect with on a level that really helps you elevate your music, which you've done for me, bro. And I can say that. I can't say that enough. Hold on to those people. Continue to build those relationships with people, because you have helped me. You helped me, because it was literally just you and me building the Full Circle EP, right? So I just want to talk about, not me. I want to talk about this experience real quick. The last 2 songs that we recorded on the Full Circle EP were Me Versus Me, which is now tattooed on my knuckles. Right there, Me Versus Me, and We Outside. Okay. And that was the first time that I started to hear a different sound and tone in myself. And you helped bring that out. Now, I've elevated since then. And I think I have a very good understanding of sorry, let me take that back. I know now in a way that I didn't know roughly over a year ago when we finished that EP. Artistically, musically, I know who I am now in a way that I didn't back then. But you helped bring that out in me. And if I did not have that experience with you, I might still be that dude that was as green then as I was now. And I know in my heart of hearts that wouldn't be the case. But I also know I might still be looking to find my identity as a music artist as well. So I thank you for that. And for the people watching out there, why would you fucking fly to Colorado? That's why. Why would I drive to Colorado? That's why. Why do I want to keep working with the same fucking person? Well, this fucking person helped me start to find my music self. And that was the catalyst for what I am and who I am musically today in a way that I wasn't back then. So stick with what works, man. Like if you got to work on something because you just happen to be in a scenario where you're just like, hey, man, this just literally came up now, or there's a timeline, that's different. But if you have control over something, business or music or your art, stick with it, man. And this dude knows what the fuck he's doing. And the beautiful thing is, even if you cannot, and I want to talk about this real quick too after I say this, even if you cannot drive or fly to Colorado to get tracked directly by van, I implore you to reach out and have a conversation with this dude about how he might be able to help you, even if it's from afar. And so, with that said, Van, you want to talk about what that looks like? Because I know there's some people that are either seeing this live or somebody's like, how the fuck does that work? How am I going to, how do I record something with you? How is Van going to elevate my music in fucking Colorado? Or if I'm in California or Wisconsin or Kansas City? Talk to the
Right.
people about it. We got
Yeah,
about
man.
15, 20
I
minutes or
mean,
so I want to talk about that because I think that's very important, honestly.
yeah. I mean, I work with tons of artists from all over the country at this point now, and if say you are a self-produced band that records themselves and you're trying to do the mixing and all of it, and it's just not turning out the way you want it. It does not quite sounding professional. I will send me your tracks. Let me help you elevate your music in a way that maybe you didn't think about. When sometimes when you're in a band that's self-produced and you're doing everything yourself, you kind of stuck in this bubble, and you don't have any outside opinions, outside ears, and knowledge to get you out of that bubble. And so if I challenge like some of these bands that are kind of stuck in this bubble and they're not growing at all, like reach out to me, let me help you take that your music and to the next level and expand it and expand your horizons. And I'm a very true believer that you should have at least one, if not two, outside influences on your music, whether it's the songwriting or it's the mixing, it's the mastering. For me, like when you work with me, you get to have a separate ear on your mastering. I don't master my own music. I'm a strong believer in that. Like I have an amazing mastering engineer, Miro, and at Miro
He's
Mastering
dope.
is an
Fucking
amazing
dope.
mastering engineer, and having an outside ear, having a separate touch that handles that, gives just another level to the song. It's gonna just make it better no matter what. And same goes for like if you're a band that self produces, like, and if you're trying to do the mixing, you're also doing the songwriting, you're also doing the mastering, like you're going to be stuck in this bubble, and your music may not. Now granted, there are some people that are good at that, but having at least one outside ear, if not two, is going to benefit you in the long run no matter what. Just having extra outside opinions, extra eyes, extra ears on the project's going to make it better. And I've been fortunate now enough to work with a few artists out of state where they are self-produced, and then they send me the tracks and I mix it and then send my mix off to Miro, and they get that full experience of having a couple different other people work on their music, and they're always so grateful. They always end up at the end of the day like, I wish I would have done this so long ago. I just recently started working with an amazing artist that has always done it himself, and he came in this past weekend to record for the first time with me, and he was like, man, like this was so awesome. Like I've been doing it all myself for so long that I've got stuck in this bubble, and now working with you, it's expanded my horizons, and we ended up making an amazing song together. And getting to help mentor artists and producers like um, uh, out in Wisconsin, Back 40 Studios. I've been helping mentor him and teaching him kind of the ropes on the producing side of things, and he sends me all the work to mix, and it's become an amazing relationship over the last few years. Getting to work with him, build his skills in the studio, and having to get to finally meet him this past week was pretty amazing as well. We finally connected in reality. Working like this for so long. But I can help you in many ways. You know, if you're struggling with how to record, get a good guitar tone or whatever it is, like I'm gonna help you produce better, give you the any advice I can to get those tracks the best they can, so then when I open up my inbox and put them in Pro Tools, like I know like these tracks are going to be as good as they can because I helped you make them better. Like if you're struggling with doing anything on the recording end, like I'm going to help you remotely any way I can to get the best possible tracks out of you sent to me, so that at the end of the day the mix is and the song is going to be the best it possibly can. um, because I'm all about wanting to help you and help your band and your music sound the best it possibly can, and that usually comes down to tracking and production. Like it always starts in at the source, and you can't polish a turd. And a lot of cases in music, like people rush through the recording process to get to the mix, and it's all about the mix, but you can't fix it in the mix in a lot of cases. Like it always comes down to how it was recorded. How the source tones are the most important thing in a recording, and making sure you have good quality instruments, and your instruments are tuned and set up properly, and you were resting your voice, and you did proper warm-ups before you started singing. And like there's so much that goes into it, and I've done this for so long now that I can help you, help guide you in knowing, building these skills. So even if you aren't here in the studio working with me, I can still help you on that aspect remotely, whether it's giving you some advice, sharing some tips and tricks and skills remotely that will help you get the best performance and the best tones and the best everything, that when I open it up I know like it's gonna be good now, because I've taught you the ways of getting those tones and getting those source tracks the best they possibly can. So yeah, I can help in many ways, more than just if I'm just your mixing engineer. I mean, I'm going to help you produce your song remotely if I need to get the best possible product we can.
So fucking true, man. And I very much support that message because I've experienced it myself, remotely and in person. And I'm gonna be honest with you, no matter how much, and I'm gonna do this for as long as I am alive going forward. But I will tell you this. And I'm starting to get some fucking goosebumps as I say this. I know for a fact that one of the most exciting recording experiences that I've to this date been blessed to have, and I know will remain at the top of the list ever, was when I came in and we recorded with you, me, and Sasha, Letter to the West. We didn't, we had nothing but lyrics. We had a beat from Discreet. Shout out to the brother Discreet. And we had lyrics. Like I didn't have it broken down into verses. We knew Sasha was going to be in this thing, but we didn't know what extent. She hadn't even heard. I mean, she had heard the song. She hadn't heard the song yet. And what you did with the ideas that you had, and then the melodies that she produced, fucking like off the dome, bro, that like that was an experience, bro. So like what I want to share with that is it wasn't just tracking. It was not just recording. Being as green as I was, that was probably to this date probably the biggest thing that I've learned thus far. Honestly, seeing that whole thing play out. And what's really cool is you mentioned a lot of genres today. You didn't mention hip hop. I'm a hip hop artist. Now, that's not to say that Van does not work with, because Van's worked with hip hop artists before me. Van's worked with hip hop artists after me. But the fact that it's not necessarily your wheelhouse in comparison to rock, for example,
Right.
I think that's a good way to put it. For you to take the different pieces of a puzzle that you were given essentially on the spot, and for you to produce a fucking track like you did, bro, it's fucking art at its finest, but it also speaks to the passion that you have so clearly talked about during this conversation. And this motherfucker came up with the hook for We Outside as well. You know, we outside, you
Right.
inside. That's Van Verhoeven. That's Van. That's B-Normous Productions right there. So listen, I want to say it to this way. If Van has not experienced something himself, Van is going to be one of those individuals that looks at what he has. And as he said here today, he is going to give you and allow you the ability to make the best fucking track and song that you possibly can. And I'm saying that as someone who has experienced that with you and from you, bro. So listen, people, if you're watching this live or you're watching this after the fact, and this is definitely going to be something that I'm sharing as one of the reels after the fact, y'all need to tap the fuck in with B-Normous Productions. You need to tap in with Van Verhoeven. And the thing that I love most about working with people in general, especially you in this instance, you're not an asshole producer, bro. Like, even to this day, like I know a lot more today than I knew when we recorded Full Circle. But you don't come off as that at all. You are someone who truly wants to make something that you're stamping your name to for yourself, but primarily for the artist or artist that you're working with. You want to make it. They're a paying customer, and you want to stamp on your name something that you could be extremely fucking proud of. And this is a very proud individual, but this is not a dude who's going to think because he does know more than you that he's going to treat you a certain way. This is a dude that's going to treat any artist or group of artists that come into a studio or who are working with him in his virtual studio. He's on your level, man. He's going to talk in a language and understanding that you are going to comprehend, no matter what kind of knowledge that you have within this industry. So if you take nothing else from this conversation today, I want y'all to take this away. And then I'm going to let Van start wrapping things up here. Know that when you're working with Van, that you are going to get somebody that is extremely passionate about what they do. They're extremely passionate about the project that you are putting out, and he wants to see you win. And he's going to be a true collaborator. No different than he talked about what's important in a collaboration to him. He's going to be one of the best collaborators that you can ever work with in anything that you do, especially when it comes to making music or making music videos or any kind of production that it comes down to in this entertainment industry. So I definitely wanted to share my experiences. I wanted to give you a motherfucking plug there because you fucking deserve it, bro. And your name needs to be known because I always say it to you, and I mean it when I say it. You are one of the best in the business at what you do, bro. I don't care what anybody tells me. I don't care who the fuck's out there doing this shit. This dude is easily one of the top, and it's because not only the experience that he has, but primarily the passion that he has for this. So I thank you, bro. And I fucking salute you. I salute this journey you're on. You know I'm here. I'm going to continue to support this. There's lots of things going on behind the scenes, which we're going to keep behind the scenes for the time being. To come in the future with collaborations between Mikey P and B-Normous Productions and Van Verhoeven itself as well. But I'm going to get off my soapbox. And I'm going to let you share any final thoughts, Van, that you want to share with the outsiders while you have him here today, and anybody that's going to be watching this in the future as well, bro.
Well, I mean, it just you hit it on the head there as far as the passion. Like, I love music, and I just truly I love it with my soul, and I want to help my artists as much as I possibly can. Whether it's if I'm just recording your song or mixing your song, or if it's doing the full ball of wax where I'm helping you produce a music video and producing song and helping do your artwork, or helping you promote it. Like with for me, almost like every artist that I work with, I help promote. It's at the end of the day, like
Mhm.
we're doing it as a team. Like this is a family. I want you to uh be successful, because at the end of the day, if you're successful, then I'm successful. So I want to help make you successful in any possible way I can, whether it's if I'm just doing your music, or if I'm helping you with the music videos and I'm helping you promote, and I'm helping build the knowledge in the music industry, and giving you knowledge while you're here recording. Like I always like to try to have those conversations with, what can I do to help you guys be successful. Like I'm gonna try do whatever I can, because at the end of the day, like I said, it's we're in it as a team, and if you're successful, then I'm successful. If you're not successful, then I'm not successful, because it's all about building that team and building that people around you and building you up and helping you be successful. So yeah, if anyone's out there that's just kind of on the fence about it, like just send me some tracks and let me help you. I will give you the best advice, even if it's just send me a mix to listen to. Like I'll give you my honest feedback on how it sounds, like where you can improve on whatever it is. Like I want to help you, no matter if it is or isn't recording, if it is or isn't mixing, like whatever it is, let me help you make you better, wherever it is. And I just love what I do, and build making new connections and relationships with artists, and just continue to do what I love. um it's a blessing, like just getting the fact that I get to do this every day for a living. I'm blessed, and I just want to continue to be able to do that for people, and continue to grow. And I've got huge goals in mind. I would love to make it to the Grammys one day and have a song that's huge and massive, but I'm not there yet. I'm building to that point, and it's all a building process, and hopefully one of those days I can climb the stairs to that point where I'm sitting and accepting an award for a Grammy or whatever it is. Like I want to get there, and I want to help you get there too. So that's my biggest thing. It's just I love what I do, and I just want to help artists be the best version of themselves, however it is.
Well, my brother, I could not have put it so eloquently better myself, and I will leave it on this from my end. You are going to get there one day, and I'm going to do everything in my goddamn power, whether it's for myself or somebody else, to fucking help you get there. But on one condition only. And then I have one final question, and then we're done. When you get up there and you accept your Grammy, I literally want you to end your Grammy speech with the, I don't care what day of the week it is, bro. I don't care if there's something dropping that day or not. But you need to shout, it's release day,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
my
release
brother,
day.
because that would be Van Verhoeven's, and that would be B-Normous Productions release until to the whole motherfucking world, and that's when shit really motherfucking changes. So we're getting you there, bro, and I
Fuck yeah.
appreciate that. Final question, you can answer it in 30 seconds or less, minute or less, whatever you want. How important are relationships in this business?
Oh man, it's the most important thing, I would say. If you have if you're not taking care of those relationships, then you're not going to be getting repeat customers. You're not going to get people telling you to work with you and spreading the word for you and talking about you and promoting you. Like if you don't have good relationships with the people that you work with, it's going to be negative then, and they're going to just not come back and work with you again, and they're not going to tell their friends about you or other bands to come work with you. So it's the most important thing, is building good relationships with who you're working with and your customers, because at the end of the day, they're paying your bills, and if you don't have them coming in to work with you, then you're not paying your bills. So you've got to have maintain those good relationships, and do all the things you can to help them and help them to be great. And if it's, you know, completely outside of music in general, or what your relationship is with them, like if you have some just life advice or whatever it is, like be there for them, you know, be a listening ear for a friend that is going through hard times or whatever it is. Like in some cases I feel like I'm a therapist in some ways, where you can
Mm-hmm.
reach out to me and tell me about your life. And if it doesn't even have anything to do with music, I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna help you wherever I can, like be a good friend and be there for you in your life. And so yeah, relationships are the top thing out of it all.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to answer that one last question. We're going to let you get out of here in just a quick second after I say these things. And I want you to have a safe travels down to DIA, because I don't care if you're taking the 25 or the 85. Man, I don't miss that motherfucking drive. I'll tell you that right now, bro. So be safe with your travels, round trip there. But ladies and gentlemen, you can find them at B-Normous Productions.com. You can find them at B-Normous on Instagram. You can find them at Van Verhoeven on Instagram as well. Any other place that might be new that I did not drop there, Van, that people
Yeah,
can find you out or check you out at?
all the channels, the TikTok as well, YouTube at B-Normous Productions, email bnormouspro@gmail, and then yeah, just if the best way to connect is just through my website, bnormousproductions.com. At the bottom, I got a contact form you can fill out, your name, email address. I'll reach out to you. Hit me up. My website, you can find all my the work I've done, my portfolios on both the audio and all the video production that I've done. Go check it out. If you like what you hear and you want to learn more, just reach out to me through any one of those channels. I usually get back to people within a few hours most of the time, if not at least 24 hours. I will respond to you, whoever it is, whatever it is about. Just reach out to me. Let's have a conversation.
That's what's up, my brother. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time today. I appreciate your
brother.
conversation, your insights, and all the fucking gems that you dropped for everybody outside here today. This conversation will live permanently on our YouTube channel at We Outside Live Podcast. Go check it out, because man, I appreciate you. Van's got 2 other episodes lined up, so it's a trilogy now. And man, like a motherfucking horror series, we're gonna keep building this shit up, because that's what we do. We're outside, people. So appreciate you. You have a good rest of your day. We're definitely gonna be talking very, very soon. I know that. As always, give all my love to Megan and the girls, bro. I hope everything is well. I hope they've had a good summer. I know you're probably as excited as Chelsea and I are about school starting up again soon as well. So nothing but blessings being sent that way, bro. And give all our love coming from here in Kansas City that way. I will, man. Appreciate you. You have a good day. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. People out there, we appreciate you opening that door and being outside with us today.
We outside.
Every Wednesday, every Saturday is Put the Guns Down. Let me say this real quick. Put the Guns Down. We have probably the most impactful conversation happening on the Put the Guns Down We Outside Live. We have a psychologist joining us, and we have individuals who are families of victims who have fallen and lost their lives to gun violence. So tune in with us Saturday. We also introduce our new co-host, my brother OG Dooney, aka John Winham, to the official capacity as the co-host. So that's what it is, people.